Hi and welcome to your Hyundai IONIQ 5 Premium Long Range. To get the best experience from your new electric vehicle, here's a short 5-step guide to get you on your way. Your Hyundai IONIQ 5 comes with a real-world range of 240 miles, a battery size of 73 kilowatt hours and a maximum DC charge speed of 233 kilowatts. If storage is key for you, the IONIQ 5 comes with a generous 527 litre boot, which can extend to 1,587 litres with the rear seats folded. The front of the car also has storage with a 57 litre frunk. Every electric car is very different, and there's no exception with the Hyundai IONIQ 5 Long Range. Let's get you round the basics and on the road. Accessing your Hyundai IONIQ 5 is effortless. Your pocket-sized key fob will allow you to access your vehicle either remotely or by keyless entry. As long as the key is on your person, you'll be able to open the car by pushing the handle in on the left and then pushing the right to open the door. If this isn't for you, you can just use the unlock button on the key fob instead. To lock your IONIQ 5, you can use the lock function on the key fob, or you can press the left hand side of the handle, which will lock the car. In the cabin, it will feel very familiar. Before we get on to step 2, let's get you comfy in the cabin first. To adjust your driver's seat, you can use these 3 different buttons on the side of the chair. The first button can adjust the height and also move the seat forward and backwards. The middle button will allow you to adjust the back support, and the final button on the left will allow you to adjust the lumbar support. Let's move on to your steering wheel. To move your steering wheel into the ideal position, you can use the lever underneath to release it. Once you've done that, you can move the steering wheel up, down, towards you or away from you into your desired position. Let's adjust the climate in the car. You can adjust the climate in your IONIQ 5 with the quick display at the front here on the dashboard. You have buttons here which include changing the temperature, the fan speed, activating the rear and windscreen heater, and if you press the climate button you can introduce more options on screen to activate things like heated seats and your heated steering wheel. Next, let's have a look at the controls behind the steering wheel. On your left stalk you can find your headlight options and also your indicators. On the right hand stalk you'll have your functions for the windscreen wipers. Also located behind the steering wheel are 2 paddles. These are for your regenerative braking. The one on the left increases the amount of braking the electric motors can do for you, and the one on the right decreases it. If you enjoy one pedal driving and want to use the electric motors as the brake, click the left paddle down 3 times to activate iPedal driving. Let's head over to the driver's display. This is split into 3 areas. Starting from across the top, you have which gear you have selected. In this case it's P for park, but you can also see D for drive, N for neutral and R for reverse. On the left hand side you have your speed, which in this case is 0 miles per hour. On the right hand side you have your remaining range, which in this case is 153 miles. And then at the bottom left of the screen you have how much percentage of the battery is remaining. And lastly, to the right of that you have your indicator to tell you what level of regenerative braking you're using, which in this case is level 3. Now you're familiar with the cabin, let's get you on to step 2. Let's show you how to start your Hyundai IONIQ 5 and get you on the road. Starting your car is effortless and can be done by hitting the start button to the left of the steering wheel. But don't forget to put your foot on the foot brake if you want to put the vehicle into gear. Both your infotainment screen and your driver's display will be ready to go in seconds. You're now ready to drive your car, so let's head over to step 3. Your Hyundai IONIQ 5 has an automatic transmission, so let's show you how to get into gear and get you on your way. Your gear selector is conveniently located to the right of your steering wheel. On your gear selector you have a choice of P for park, which is on the top of the selector, R for reverse, N for neutral, and of course D for drive. To the right of the gear selector you also have your parking brake, your auto hold button, and also a button to open your boot. If you select the reverse gear, you will automatically get a pop-up on your screen to show you the rear reversing camera. Whilst driving the car, you may wish to use the cruise control function. This can be activated by hitting the button which has the car symbol with a timer on it. On the right hand side of the steering wheel, you can use the toggle button below it to increase and decrease your cruise control. On the bottom left of the pad you have a steering wheel with 2 lines. This is your lane centering. And finally to the right of that is a small car symbol with 2 dashes underneath, and this controls your distance between your car and the one in front. Also, whilst you're driving, you may want to consider what kind of mode you have your vehicle in. The drive mode button here allows you to select between eco mode, normal and sport mode. So let's have a look at step 4. We live a very connected lifestyle and we can do that in the car as well. So let's have a look at the IONIQ 5's multimedia system. First of all, let's get your smartphone connected to the car. In the very top left of the screen there's a little house symbol. We're going to hit that, which will show a screen full of options. The one on the bottom right, which is settings, is the next step. So please click on this one. Next, please select phone connection, and then on the left phone connections again, and then on the bottom left we've got add new. Before we do press that, make sure your Bluetooth is switched on your smartphone so both the car and your phone are visible to each other. Once you see IONIQ 5, please select that on your smartphone. You will then be prompted to pair with each other and you must check that the codes match. If they do, press pair and your phone and the car are now in contact with each other. You may also be asked to sync your contacts so you can make phone calls and play audio from the car. Your Hyundai IONIQ 5 also comes with satellite navigation. This can be activated by hitting the nav or map button on the center console. You're then presented with 2 options. On the left you've got the satellite navigation, and on the bottom right you've got search for EV stations. We'll start with the sat nav first. If you hit the magnifying glass you can search for a destination. As you type it in using the on-screen keyboard, once your destination appears, click your destination and then set as destination. If you're happy with the routes provided, click on start guidance to begin your journey. Let's now look to the right hand side and look at searching EV stations. Clicking on here will allow you to search all your local charging stations. If you'd like to navigate to one, select your preferred choice and set as destination. You can also add it as a point on your existing route or set it as your only destination. Your Hyundai IONIQ 5 also has access to wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. This can be activated by plugging in a USB-A cable into the data socket underneath the central console. Plug the other end of the cable into your smartphone device. Within seconds you will see Apple CarPlay or Android Auto appear on your smartphone and also on the car display. You now have access to many apps from your phone through your car. On the subject of smartphones, your IONIQ 5 also has wireless charging. You can find the pad to charge your phone underneath the cup holders in the center console. And that completes step 4, and that ties us nicely into the final step, which is how to charge your electric car. So let's review the 3 different ways we can charge your Hyundai IONIQ 5. Your charging port is located at the rear driver's side of the car, just behind the rear wheel. Unlocking the charge port can be done by either pressing the unlock button on your key fob, or you can unlock the car and hold 2 fingers on the raised bumps on the charge port door. The top half of the charger port is for your AC charging. The lower half of the charging port, which is covered with this protective bung, is for your DC ultra fast charging. Let's discuss your charging options. There are 3 ways you can charge your Hyundai IONIQ 5. The first is a domestic 3-pin Type 2 connector. This is the slowest option and will charge up to 2.5 kilowatts. This charging cable doesn't come with your subscription, but you can add it for a small charge. The more conventional way is a fast charge, using a Type 2 to Type 2 connector, which will charge up to 7 kilowatts on your Hyundai IONIQ 5. This cable comes as standard with your subscription. Your third and final option is a rapid DC charger. This uses a much larger connector than the 2 previously discussed. DC rapid chargers can normally be found alongside A and B roads and motorway services. If you're AC charging, take your Type 2 to Type 2 connector and plug it into the AC port on your charge port. But don't forget to allow at least 30 seconds for your car to communicate with the charger. To monitor your charging, jump into your Hyundai IONIQ 5 and on your driver's binnacle you'll be able to monitor the current state of charge, which in this case is 67%, the charging speed, which is 6.5 kilowatts, and how long it will take to charge to 100%, which in this case is 4 hours and 20 minutes. When your AC charging is completed, to finish, all you'll need to do is unlock the vehicle, which will also release your Type 2 cable. And don't forget to close the charge port door, which can be done with the button on the charge port, or the unlock charge port door button on your key fob. The fastest way to charge, which is DC rapid charge or ultra fast charge, can be done using the same way as the Type 2 connector. You will need to remove the protective bung at the bottom of the charging port to allow additional space for the much larger DC rapid charger connector. To finish your DC rapid charge, you will need to hit stop on the DC charger unit first before you can unplug the connector. You are now set to go, and you should have everything in your toolkit to drive your electric car.